So, I feel the need to say a few things. Being an American and a follower of Jesus Christ, and the things that I'm seeing from my president, when you use force, lethal or non lethal in this case, to clear a path through peaceful protesters so that you can get your photo op at a time that our nation that you claim to love is in high tension anyhow, does not honor that Bible in your hand. You have no respect for the Bible in that hand. You, sir, are a very huge source of the problem in this country. I am a minister, ordained, and I find it completely repulsive that you would consider what you did today as anything other than an assault on Christianity. And since you had to put your hand on that Bible to swear in, I feel as though it's an assault on America, right? Because you just did something very anti Christian when you could have just as easily, just completely as easily said, hey, peaceful protesters, look, we're doing everything we can to change things. Why don't we, I don't know, let's protest together. Now that would have been a photo op. That, my friend, would have been a photo op. Donald Trump saying Black Lives Matter, now that might have made an impact somewhere. But instead, you shot them. You shot at peaceful protesters so that you could hold up a Bible that I doubt you know anything about. And you mock it as if, what? Seriously? You think this helps you in any way? Anywhere? The sad thing, though, is what's even more sad is the people that do back you with that Bible in your hand, knowing what you're doing. What's even more sad is that the police did it. That is exactly Adolf Hitler right there. You told them to fire on peaceful protesters, and because you told them to, they felt that it was okay. You know, there was an experiment by sociologists a while back, and I should have done my research and found out the name of the experiment, but I did not. Didn't think about bringing it up. But I will explain the experiment a little bit. So they asked for volunteers on this college campus, and they were to press a button to shock somebody in the next room that was in, like they were strapped down or whatever. It wasn't real. It was rigged, but the people on in the experiment didn't know that. They thought that it was real. they were told repeatedly to keep going, even though the person was screaming and yelling like they were dying. And do you know what? Do you know what happened? Three-quarters of the people kept pressing the button to kill the person. That's what I see happening here. They are given the authority by the President of the United States to fire on people. And like puppets, that's exactly what they did. Peaceful protesters being fired on. Peaceful American citizen protesters fired on by American citizen cops. You police, you law enforcement that pulled those triggers ought to be ashamed of yourself, because those were peaceful protesters. I am outraged at what I see going on in my country right now. That was unconstitutional. It was unconstitutional by our law enforcement. It was unconstitutional by our president. We have a right to lawful assembly. I don't care who you think you are. Oh, I scheduled to be here at this time. Learn to adapt. Learn to change. Have some compassion. That's what that Bible's all about. You know that? Have you ever opened it? Other than to wipe your ass with it? Seriously? Have you read the Bill of Rights? The Constitution? Because everything that I see you doing has nothing to do with anything of the values of this country. What I grew up as the values of this country. As far as I'm concerned, when I found out who you are in the 90s, I knew you were trash. It doesn't take much to see what you are. I don't know how people can't see it. You have stood on the backs of people to enslave them, and you think it's okay. You think that that is perfectly okay. How many people have you killed that we don't know about? Because it looks like you don't have any problem being the sociopathic leader that you are. Not psychopathic, because you know full well what you're doing. You are power hungry and power tripping, just like that cop that knelt on George Floyd's neck with a smile on his face, knowing full well what was happening, and he thought he could get away with it. I don't think you understand. You do not understand what you're doing. Or maybe you do. Maybe you are perfectly fine with starting a revolution. Maybe you are perfectly fine with trying to start another war, a world war, because other countries are watching you right now. I know there are protests in Britain. There are protests in Nigeria. There's protests in Italy. And you think that the way you mocked and blamed China, that they're going to stand behind you? I don't think so. I don't think that the racism that you have displayed, the chauvinistic display you've had towards women, how anybody thinks that you are a good option to lead anything, I still don't understand. And it is a pitiful display that you are putting on. Please, please, please stop doing this to our country. A country that you say you love, a Bible you say you love. I don't believe you. And I feel bad for anybody that you've convinced, because you're a sick man and you're doing it intentionally. Anyhow, that's my rant for today. I love everybody. Take care of yourself. Be safe out there. And if you're protesting, please, please remain peaceful. Work with the law enforcement of your area, please. We need to stand up for ourselves. We need to stand up for our rights. But we have to do it peacefully, or it's going to change nothing. We need to try to do it peacefully, I should say, because this country was founded on not doing it peacefully, and everybody knows it, but everybody wants to hide behind their pretty little flowers that they think shields them from the truth, which is we protested against the British. It did nothing. So we created revolution. I hope that does not happen. I hope that this can be done peacefully. I hope that things can be changed peacefully. I pray for it. I pray for it every single day because I believe in Christ, unlike somebody who mocks it. I believe in compassion. I believe in being kind. But I also believe in what America stands for and what made America, and that is the right to subdue oppressors and tyranny. That being said, be safe. I love you. Thanks for looking, and I will talk to you soon.